Welcome back to the Unbiased Opinion, where everyone's opinion is biased except ours. This is our 23rd episode of doing this nonsense. And today is the first part of a two-parter series. We're going to be talking about the Daniel Craig James Bond movies. Now, I, for one, am a big James Bond fan. More so a big Daniel Craig fan. I may harbor homosexual feelings towards this man, but that's okay. Just him. But, yes. Yeah, you guys' name are Craig and Daniel. Very funny. So we're going to be covering the first three Daniel Craig Bond movies. Casino Royale, Quantum of Solace, and Skyfall. So, first things first, I'm Colin.
I'm Craig.
And I'm Daniel.
Yes. I should have made Daniel go for it. That doesn't matter.
So it's still not as good as Simon and Peg, but, continue.
Well, no one is Peg. That creature. Casino Royale was his first movie that came out in 2006. And a lot of people didn't like him being casted before the movie came out. Because he's the only James Bond actor that is under 6 feet. And he doesn't have brown or black hair.
Yeah, so that people were calling him James Blonde.
Yeah, it's a little weird complaint that before the movie comes out, you're like, oh, he has to be 6 feet or over 6 feet, because I think everyone else is like 6'2", and he's 5'10".
It's like Batman with his strong chin and jaw requirements.
Yeah, some people, are just weird.
But like,
people in this discussion are weird.
At least he's 5'10", I mean, it's not like he's 5'4", right? I mean,
or 5'8". So, what do you guys think of Casino Royale, his first movie?
I think it was a very good first movie. I guess looking ahead, it's easily my favorite of all of his movies.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, is that a bold take in the James Bond?
No, it's not a bold take.
I agree. It's definitely a very well put together movie. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was. I know Colin, we'd spoken before, and I agree. It's a very unique, but overall, it's a very good movie.
Yes, it's definitely the most different James Bond movie, and that's for the better. This one definitely it takes itself more seriously. It's grounded. There isn't James Bond using a car door parasailing the side of a tsunami when he's trying to stop a giant laser.
Is that from which one is that from?
Die Another Day. He's trying to stop a giant laser from destroying the North and South Korean border.
Was that Pierce Brosnan?
Yeah, it's Pierce Brosnan. He's not doing any of that.
What?
So we like destroy the border, like destroy the demilitarized zone. Like what does that mean?
Yeah. He's trying to do something like that. It's a complete reboot, and Daniel Craig plays the role very well. James Bond as a character is a psychopath. He is a cold-blooded killer, and Daniel Craig does a great job of portraying that. But he doesn't come off as an edgelord, If this was Ben Affleck doing this, he would be murdering everyone with his bare hands and swearing, but Daniel Craig doesn't do that.
Yeah,
I was gonna proper.
Yeah, I was gonna compare it to like how Pattinson's Batman. Like he's very efficient, but it doesn't take away from the job. It fills its role, and then he just moves on about it.
Yes, and he'll do anything to, as you see in the movie, he'll do anything to advance his mission by any means necessary. This is definitely one of the best, if not the best, Bond movie. And I know, Daniel, you were saying that you don't watch the opening title sequence, like the credits.
For the sake of because we had to watch watching the whole series, I kind of I just skipped through it just to get it, get the movie going. I also was watching them later in the night, so I was kind of getting tired too. So I kind of was just
it's only
just
30 minutes. I think since you skipped it, and Craig, I'm assuming, did you skip it too?
I didn't skip it, but it didn't really capture my attention.
What?
Well, because I don't know. To me, it's I don't really care.
Oh my god, what is wrong with you?
I was gonna ask, is this like a big thing
out of all the
Bond
movies, this is the best opening, the best song in the movie, in all the Bond movies. It's the best one.
But like, is this like a thing in James Bond movies?
Yes, there's always a pre-title sequence where
Yeah.
Bond is doing something, and then there's the title sequence, which is some person sings it, and then the movie like
No,
technically starts.
I knew this was a big part of the Bond movies because obviously other movies have parodied it. You know, we've talked about Friday Part 6 and also Deadpool 2. They parodied um the intros. Like it is a well known thing, but I was just more of like get the movie going kind of deal.
It's
But
a part of the movie. It is 100% a part of the movie.
I know you were talking about key details in it, and like obviously I could tell from like images and stuff. Like yeah, it's hinting, but I don't know. I'm also not
It
as huge
literally
as a
connects
Bond
with
fan.
him getting his first kill.
I watched that part where he was in Prague.
I don't know. It's such a cool transition. You're a weirdo for not liking it. That's a fact at this point. You're just a weirdo.
You caught me. Now, if it was the Rock's intro,
Well, I'm
yeesh,
sure you would like to see him shirtless and popping pills in a porta potty somewhere on set.
And running at like 2 miles an hour.
So let's talk about characters, and then after we're done, before I give our final thoughts, I'll talk about some of the differences between the book because I did read the book too.
yeah, I was actually
Oh,
gonna ask you at different points, like how close, especially like
Yes.
considering like how close Daniel Craig actually played the character to the books. But
So I guess we already talked about Bond. Do you want to talk a little bit more about Bond as a character?
like when you say he's like a sociopath or a psychopath, like he kind of like disposes of people too pretty quickly.
Yeah, he's cold blooded. He's unfeeling. He really
but I
doesn't care.
but I like how he always keeps I know it's part of his character, but I always like how he keeps the professional aspect. Like whenever he just gets done with the chase or he's like trying to like look nonchalant, he always just walks away so casually and like always fixes his suit and just
He didn't
keeps
do
that
that in this
same.
one. He didn't do that in this one.
But he always like but he'll just walks away like all like and keeps that same demeanor and tone. I always like that about it, that
So
little
I
nuance.
think what also really works with this is that it's a rookie Bond where he's not who he's supposed to be in the sense that he's not a seasoned veteran like we see in the other movies. He's a little reckless, a little too reckless, and he makes mistakes. And again, that kind of grounds him. He's not in the other Bond movies. He was like kind of perfect, and he could do no wrong in the sense. But in this one, he's vulnerable. He's reckless, and I think that adds more to him, and that makes him not relatable, but that just makes him more interesting, more human, I guess. He's not like some walk-in superhero.
I concur.
Yes, yes.
That's what I'll have to add.
Daniel, anything else?
No, I think my favorite sequence of like just Bond, like I guess along the point of like he's willing to do whatever it takes for the mission, I, or like how he's like he's just straight cold blooded was when he went to the Caribbean, correct? And like he's tracking
Bahamas.
that
Yeah.
what?
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're right. Yeah.
and he was tracking that guy and he plays the guy in poker, like robs him of millions, like beats him in poker, robs him of millions of
He
dollars,
takes his car too.
takes his car, sleeps with his wife, and then tracks him to an airport in Miami, kills him in the airport, leaves his body there and robs him and walks away.
Well, he only did that so he could know where he was going.
Yeah.
So that just shows that he'll do anything to advance his mission. He just doesn't care.
Oh,
Yeah,
don't
well,
forget before that too, like when he like crashed the car, like it was some random person's car he crashed into. But he
Oh
like
yeah, to
crashed it.
to get in the surveillance room because
Yeah.
they thought he
yeah,
was some chauffeur.
yeah,
Some poor schmuck got their car destroyed.
yeah, or what was it like the guy's like wife? He like orders her a bottle of champagne, says she says he'll be right back, and he flies to Miami.
Yeah. So, should we talk about Le Chiffre? Le Chiffre?
He was probably, again, looking ahead, probably the best villain in these series, in my opinion.
And the sense is, I don't know if I agree with that 100%, but he is a good villain, and that's because he's not typical. I want to take over the world. He's literally just some like sleazy scumbag who's trying to save himself.
Well, I think that's why
I
he's
think
the best about like because he
yeah,
actually has like more motivation. It's not just I'm from some shadow organization trying to kill people. It's more like no, I'm actually in trouble. I need this
or the
money.
head of a shadow organization using a personal vendetta as a way as an excuse to do all this. Because then you get to like not to skip ahead, but like
Don't
like
skip ahead
Skyfall.
then. Don't skip ahead.
But in other movies, like some of the villains' motivation is personal. This guy is just it's purely business. But,
Like
Yes.
you can see why he wants to do it, and when again,
yeah,
he's wants to he owes money, but at least it's more of a reason why you keep be doing this, and maybe just also a good actor too, where he's better than some other people.
Yes, Lashif is a coward. He is a coward that is over his head and is trying to save himself.
and bleeds from the eye.
Yes, that was not in the book actually.
I was gonna say because in the movie they didn't touch on like it was just an added detail,
No,
but
him when he would bleed, when his eye would bleed, that was him bluffing. That's how Bond knew. Did you not know
uh,
that?
no, I'm saying, but the reason why his eye was bleeding,
Oh
like
no, he
the
said it like
background.
he said in some throwaway line where he said it was something. Remember when he was on the boat with those people when he like the second
Yeah,
time we see Lashif, he says like a throwaway line. It's like
yeah.
a
I
three
just assumed it
duck
was
thing.
because of some injury or whatever. Didn't really.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Oh no, it wasn't neat. I just was like they never. Like rewatch looking back. I was like, did they ever touch on it? It didn't matter, but
Yeah, but Lashif is probably one of the best Bond villains too. Again, because as we touched on, he's not Mister Twirly Mustache wants world domination. He's just trying to save himself, pretty much.
I was gonna ask you like because you've seen all the Bond movies, correct? Like,
Yes.
was there like one villain that was just so bad compared to the rest, or were they all kind of like just kind of clumped together?
Well, I'll tell you one of the worst villains happens to be in the Daniel Craig era, which we'll get to. Not in this episode, though, unfortunately.
Oh no, is it the No Time to Die guy?
Yes, he is terrible.
Yeah.
But let's not talk about No Time to Die.
It's funny how I knew immediately.
Vesper. I thought Vesper was really great too in this movie, and I like how most of the times like the Bond girls, they're not really characters. They're just, I guess you could say that, like in Michael Bay's term, they're eye candy. But Vesper actually had a character, and she also didn't take any of Bond's nonsense and challenged his ego, and I thought that was great.
Again, to reiterate, I think she was also the best Bond girl in these movies. That's probably
No,
why.
she is she
Yeah,
is.
yeah, I agree.
And I guess, like I felt like their, I guess, love interest, whatever, was probably the most convincing out of all the ones too. I guess you could see why they would like each other. Maybe because she pushes back, where it's not just immediate, like, like he does his things. She actually, you know, makes him wait, and also helping him more too than some of the other ones.
Yeah, well, because she also has like her own like stakes. Like she's there not like it's not like Bond brought her along. Like she was there to meet him. Like she had like a vital part in it regardless. So like you're saying, like it was able to rival him, and it paid off pretty well.
Yes, I thought she was great. Good Bond girl. Best one of probably the whole series, honestly. And now
Oh,
Daniel.
that's
Oh, Craig, were you gonna
surprising.
say something?
I'm saying, oh, that's surprising. I would have assumed there would have been a better one.
No, none of them are characters. They're just there. So Daniel, you said you didn't really like the ending of Casino Royale.
It's not like
Explain yourself.
I felt it was like a little messy and like I just felt it was kind of like almost like rushed in a sense. Like after the whole they kill the bad guy gets killed and then Bond wakes up and he's just like on this island, he's recovering. She's there and then who was the French guy that was working with
Mathis.
them?
He's
Mathis.
Italian.
Mathis.
I think he's supposed to be French though in the movie. I'm not
No,
sure.
no, he was French. He was working with the French government.
Oh, but he sounds Italian.
Yeah,
Whatever.
he is Italian. Doesn't matter.
Anyway, um, But then it's like, Bond, because the whole thing, like, why with this ending is like this movie was his, it's his first time, he just is like getting promoted to 007. It's like especially with the character, like he will do nothing to compromise the mission, like to get the job done. And then at the end, like it seems like he's willing to just this girl he just met. He's willing to like throw away his career that literally just started for her. And then it's like I felt like them getting to the point of like, oh, they're retired, they're sailing, and then she betrays him, and then she dies. Like I don't know. It just to me like it didn't in terms of like this was supposed to be like his movie of like he's just getting started, and then by the end of it he's willing to kind of just throw away his entire career, even though he just got promoted to 007. Like I would have understood if this was more down the line, like maybe the third movie or even the second, you could justify it, like where they spent time together, they really got to know each other. It's like they just met and they almost died, and it's like, oh, let's get married. We're done with our careers. That's it.
All right,
And
two
then,
things. Oh, sorry, keep going.
and then the only reason he returns back to, comes back to the agency is because she's dead. But obviously, there was the whole morality of like, did she really betray him? Was she trying to protect him? Kind of deal. That gets answered down the line, but I don't know. It's not. It didn't ruin the movie for me. I just thought it was a little messy. If they had kind of taken more time to it, it probably would have fit better for me. But again, still an overall good movie.
Okay, real quick. You make it sound like when you say Bond's career, like he's some kind of salesman. He is a killer, and she witnessed him kill people in front of her. Or yeah, she witnessed him killing people in front of her. It's not like he's getting a job promotion. He's a killer essentially, and him wanting to leave the game when he's still young and he still has something left. That was the point. Where he
Yeah,
feels like he has something to leave with. You know.
that's why it didn't bother me because they also mentioned too, like I think at the beginning of the movie where it's like it's a young man's game or a young man's job because obviously you're not gonna have.
No, that was like I don't think they said that in that movie because he's like one of the youngest 007s ever.
No, that was like in the next.
That was like in
I think.
Skyfall. That was in
Yeah, I was gonna say
Skyfall.
that's in Skyfall.
I thought
Uh,
this one they mentioned like
No,
he's
the
young
line was
because
M said to Bond that, or no, Bond said to M that double O's have a short life expectancy.
well, okay, that's what they said. The point is like
Yeah.
I can see why he would want to leave because you're not expected to live long.
Yes, and the second thing was that the whole point of the ending and him betraying is, as we said earlier, he's a rookie Bond. It's him becoming the James Bond that everyone knows at the end of the movie. So that was necessary for that to happen. So he doesn't trust anyone because she betrayed him. He's a lone wolf, I guess you could say. That this all happened so he could become Bond, the real James Bond at the end. And in terms
I
oh
get
yeah,
it.
yeah,
Yeah.
you go.
No, I get it, and like it's just I'm just like to me personally, I just like I said, it was just messy and how to me it was executed. I think if they had just taken a little more time at the end, like I guess it would have fit better for me. I completely understand like that story arc. I just if it was more like if he had spent more time as an agent and then met this girl, but
Well, it's better
I
than the book ending.
that was the bookend.
He he goes into a hotel room and sees that she's dead, and he reads a letter saying that, yeah, I betrayed you. I'm sorry. She like overdosed on sleeping pills. There wasn't
Oh
any chase
God.
scene in Venice where they're going into a house that's sinking. He doesn't go after the guy at the end. Um, trying to think what. Oh, there's in the beginning. He's not a rookie in the book. He's an established agent. Mathis
Okay.
doesn't get arrested in the book either. They're actually friends before the events of the book.
Does he really do anything in the book besides like basically commentate the poker game?
What?
Mathis, does he do anything in the
No, he
book
doesn't.
besides just
Yeah, because he was just
He's
giving like
like he's kind of
exposition.
like Bond's contact, and Felix Leiter's in the book too. Oh yeah, he's
Yeah.
in the movie too. My bad, my bad.
What?
But Bond knew Felix Leiter was going to be at the game. That's what I meant.
Which Felix actually became our boy Gordon in the
Yes,
Batman. It's the
yes,
oh
same actor.
really?
First I didn't recognize him, but
yeah.
I was like, wait,
He has hair in this movie.
and also Colin. Now that you had mentioned that, like he's kind of Shatnerian. I noticed that like how he was talking with
I'm
Bond
your
at
brother from
times.
Langley. He said
Yeah,
something like that.
Yeah. But
Oh,
yeah,
real
no,
quick,
I
also, there's a scene, or not, there's a chapter in the book where two men in straw hats try to kill Bond with an explosion, but they accidentally kill themselves.
What are they wearing straw hats for?
And I made a detail where, like, when they blew up, all that was left was their straw hats. Like,
Oh.
like in the Snyder Cut, when Wonder Woman kills all those people, and the big explosion happens in the art gallery, you just see the guy's hat fly down, kind of like that.
but I was gonna say with Mathis, like a little, I did like that little detail about Bond, like how he's just cold. Like where they found out Mathis actually, you know, he was in it like innocent of what they thought, like a traitor betraying them, and then Bond still had him tortured anyway.
Oh, by the way, that wasn't in the book either. Mathis never portrayed Bond in the book.
Yeah,
Oh, one last
but
detail. In the book, Bond did think that Vesper was betraying him, but he didn't think anything of it because he thought Vesper was a dumb woman. He used like some of those words. Like Bond was terrible in the book. He literally
I
just
mean,
he didn't
yeah.
he was mad that Vesper was with him because he's like,
When
oh, these women don't know anything. Why are they here? They should be like in a flower shop or something. He said something
I,
like that.
I was gonna ask you, what years were the books written?
It was in the 50s.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I was um, was there any other characters?
Oh, the Chief. He's very different in the book than the movie. In the book, he's a 5'8", he's a 5'8" fat man, and they describe that perfectly. And he lost all of his money from like investing on brothels,
What?
and like there was a law, I forget where he's from, but there was a law that they cracked down on the brothels, so it ruined his investment in it. So then people from Smersh, which is like supposed to be Spectre, are coming after him to kill him. So that's when he tries to do the game of Baccarat. It's not poker, it's Baccarat, Baccarat, whatever that is. Yes, it's
I don't know the
he's very
difference.
different in the book than the movie.
That sounds like French. I don't know if his character was like. Well,
I forget what he was in the
it's just his
book.
name sounds that way, but I
Yeah.
know.
I
But
mean, isn't the actor Danish? Not that
yeah,
not that it matters.
yeah. But but overall, like I was gonna ask, like, do we have any like other? Were there any other characters to like? Oh,
M.
M. Yeah, M.
M is a man in the book, but M's not
Yeah.
really. Oh, and
Well, I know,
I think they mentioned Q and Moneypenny in the book. More
that
so
was
Moneypenny. She's mentioned, but she's not in it.
because I know M was a man, in like in the original movies.
Yes.
But I liked her and Bond too. I like their like relationship and
Oh, real
everything.
quick, so we could move on. There wasn't any scene with like the African chase in the beginning that was not in the book. The Sky Fleet sequence at the airport was not in the book. Bond getting the two kills in the beginning of the movie were not in the book. The book actually opens with Bond already losing to Le Chiffre in the game.
Oh.
I was gonna say I did really like the opening scene in Prague, like the black and white and him just sitting in the chair,
Him
kind of
getting his
paying like
first two
more.
kills.
Well, I like that. Like it starts off with the like playing more of like him, had setting like him more being a spy, and then like I guess like the movie doing like a more modern take, like where they actually can afford to do these like grand action scenes, and then it goes to him chasing that guy and everything, going through the construction site, which I thought that was pretty well done. Um, but the main reason I really liked this Bond movie, was that the main objective or the main way to beat the bad guy and how it was all set up, it wasn't, they're trapped on a submarine and they have to escape and he just shoots the guy. He has to beat him in poker. Like the whole big part of the movie is them playing a game of poker in some underground casino. I just thought it was really well done and everything, and like how Bond, um, has to like see his bluff, and he actually has to like outthink the guy and everything. But it just comes down to a game of poker.
Oh, and real quick before we move on, the torture scene in this movie is actually from the book too.
Oh, really?
With
I was
Bond being
gonna,
naked and them torturing him. That's in the book.
I was gonna ask that too, because it's a very
Yeah.
odd way of torturing somebody. So I
Is
wasn't
that
sure.
Oh, and the guy also, the guy who kills Le Chiffre, he wanted to kill Bond, but he doesn't kill Bond because he was told not to. So he carves like a Russian symbol on the back of Bond's hand that lets people know he's a spy.
was it the guy Mr. White?
He's not in the book.
Because that was the guy that wasn't that the guy who killed the chief in the movie? It
Yeah,
was
in the
Mr.
movie,
White,
yeah,
right?
but he's not in the
Yeah,
book.
but yeah, I just
Okay, you
I
go.
was just gonna say overall with like Casino Royale, I just really like that. You know, it was different. Like that, it was just them playing poker. I just like that. That was the best way to beat him. Very unique, but
Yeah, he didn't press a button on a guy's parachute that electrocuted him, and he went flying into a jet propeller. None of that happened. So, should we move to Quantum of Solace?
I just have one more question. Is
Yes.
this, you said Casino, you read the book. Is this the first book in the series?
Yes, it is. It's the first book.
Oh, interesting. All right. Onward.
Quantum of Solace is a direct sequel. It takes place minutes after Casino Royale, and this movie's kind of bad.
I
yeah,
agree. I didn't really like it.
I kind of like I kept struggling. Craig, we were talking the other day. I kept forgetting the name of it. Like it was just honestly, it was just very forgettable.
I think the biggest problem I have with this movie is that they give like 100 million reasons as to why Vesper betrayed him, when the one reason why she did made sense in Casino Royale, where she gave the money to Mr. White and the organization to spare his life. But then they're like, oh, she had a boyfriend and then all this, and then Mathis didn't betray him. It was just unneedlessly convoluted for no reason.
Oh yeah, I mean lots of stuff. Well, like you want to talk about math? It's like how he was like, uh, they just like didn't know what to do with him. It felt like because they say, oh, he wasn't betrayed. It's a way to save face, but then they kill him in the most like insulting way possible.
Yeah. At first, it looked like Bond used him as a meat shield.
He did.
And he
And it's
like
like,
throws his body in a dumpster. He doesn't care.
Yeah.
and like he has to know that. Okay, these cops are obviously pulling me over for no reason. I think he says like this probably isn't like a routine traffic stop or something. And then
Yeah.
he just lets them like shoot Mathis and then dumps his body. It's like, could you be any more disrespectful? It's not like he even had to go in the mission too. Like he could have just given the information and like left the movie. I don't think he had. I don't think he had to be there. It was just to kill him, and I guess you're leaving a trail of bodies, Bond.
Yeah, that
Yes,
was
but he kind of chose to do that too.
yeah. Uh, this is just a mess.
Yeah. I was just gonna say the main villain
I
and
didn't
the
mind the villain that much because again, his goals aren't world domination. It's him literally creating an artificial drought just so he can gain more money and sell water at like crazy prices. It wasn't anything like ridiculous.
I mean, people do that today, so
Yeah, that's why it's. I think he's better than like Blofeld and Safin. I would say this guy.
at least in the terms of like goals and stuff. Actually, yeah, then everything, I would say, yeah, I agree.
He's better than those two clowns.
Yeah. I didn't that was like the one thing with the Bonds is I kind of liked when their villains didn't have the personal vendetta against Bond or someone in the agency. I like that their villain like when the villains were just more of like the global or they're just doing it because. You know,
I don't mind if it's the vendetta thing if it's done right. If it's done
I mean,
correctly and done well, I don't really mind.
I feel like it has to make sense. Which I know obviously it's kind of obvious, but I don't think they do a good job of having the vendettas make sense.
Yes, we'll get to the other one next time. That other monstrosity.
yeah, I don't know. Quantum it's just like it was very like forgettable for me.
Like I
And
found it like hard to like literally watch because some of the editing.
Yes, the editing is
yeah,
horrendous. And I don't know if you did any research, Craig. I know you did a little bit because you told me. But Daniel, I don't know if you know, this movie was written during, or this was in production during the writer's strike of 2007, 2008. If you don't know what that is, you should look it up. But basically, you couldn't employ writers when you were during a film production, during that strike. So you would literally have directors and actors trying to rewrite stuff. That's why everything's a mess. But I
So
saw,
basically Hollywood films did like a scab season, like the NFL did in the '80s, and a bunch of scabs.
so I saw the director. He said a year or so after Spectre came out that his way of hiding a lack of story was to hypercut everything.
Oh my
And I
God.
think he made it worse doing that. I mean, he made it more distracting.
Because like
Sometimes, yeah, Craig, you go.
well, I was gonna say it wasn't like the lack of story that was the problem. It was like I literally couldn't like there was like a boat chase. I couldn't see what was going on because there were so many cuts.
I
Like that
think.
doesn't
Oh
affect the
yeah,
story
sorry.
at all.
The Opera House scene too is pretty badly cut, where Bond is running through the place and he's trying to shoot people. I think that is edited
That's
so bad.
like the opening too. Like I didn't understand why they were cutting back and forth.
Yes, it's this is just bad.
And I just wanted to mention, like you talked about like the writer strike. I've seen people talk about how like that writer strike has like damaged Hollywood permanently because like that writer strike gave rise to like J.J. Abrams,
Oh
Alex Kurtzman,
no,
and his cronies. So because of that writer strike, we have like
Cronies.
we have them to
oh
thank for
no.
Alex Kurtzman, like people like him running around Hollywood, him and his disciples. So it was definitely not a good thing for Hollywood, from what I've read.
I don't know what you're talking about, Craig. J.J. Abrams, his movies make a lot of money, so that must mean they're good. So I don't
Well,
know what you're
that's
talking
why
about.
these cronies stuck around instead of like having better writers. These people, these hacks came in for like cheaper, made same amount of money because people are going to watch whatever you put on the screen and realize we don't need to hire good people. We can hire these cheap hacks to write stuff for us and we'll still make money.
I mean, you're not speaking my language. I mean, if you're not cramming nostalgic down my throat, I don't want to see the movie. Okay, just saying.
Yes, I know. Yeah, keep talking.
Don't. I'll send the rock your way. Don't worry.
I
Yeah,
don't know if
running
you
at two
guys
miles an
noticed this.
hour.
Oh, I don't know if you guys noticed this too. There was that one scene where M sends that Ginger to like tell Bond to come back, and obviously that doesn't work. When he comes back to the hotel, they dump her in oil, and
Yeah,
that's
I thought
supposed
that
to
was
be
so over the
that's
top.
supposed to be a little nod to Goldfinger when they did that with some girl in the Goldfinger movie. She was covered in gold though, and they killed her. It's just you don't have to make that reference. It's no, just stop movie.
Yeah, because like her character, it just yeah.
She didn't really have a character. She's there for like two
I,
minutes and
I was
dies.
looking. I was just about to say. I forgot that lady was in the movie because it's like all she does is she literally is like, "Oh, I'm here to make sure you get back to the to London." And he sleeps with her, and then the next scene, she trips a guy, and then she's dead on his bed, covered in oil.
I wanted to ask, like, 'cause I only saw this movie once for for this podcast, but did they ever actually say her full name in the movie? Because I had to look it up on
Strawberry
Wikipedia.
Fields.
Like, I looked it up on Wikipedia, but like, did they actually say that in the
I
movie?
think they said Agent Fields, something like
Okay,
that.
because
Yeah, because then I
I
know
didn't
he
even know
asked her
her
like,
name. I had to look it up.
yeah, he's because I remember he asked her like, what's your name?" And she's like, "Fields, just Fields,"
Yeah,
something like that. Some stupid.
and the Bond girl too is everything in this movie is just so forgettable.
I
She
looked up.
wants revenge on the general for killing her family, and she's also an ex-lover of Dominic Green, who's the main villain. And then she has
And
like a
yeah,
burn mark on her back or something like that.
and then you also find out like she was like
A
a
spy,
Bolivian
right?
government agent. Yeah, she worked in like the Bolivian government. Yeah, I don't.
Look again, I looked it up. So she's apparently like Ukrainian or something, some Eastern European thing. But they had her playing like a girl from South America.
Well, I know that I did read up that the like directors they wanted someone who's was actually from South or Central America, but they apparently she did a good enough job.
I just, to me, I guess it seems weird. Like I think they definitely made her look darker and stuff. It just, I don't know, you couldn't hire somebody from that area.
See that to me
It's like
like
she was in
kept
a
stick.
tan for too long, like a
Yeah,
tan girl.
that kept like distracting me every scene she was in. I was like, my God, she is like it's like a Jersey Shore tan. Oh God.
It just felt like a very weird thing. Like, there's people who, I don't know. Again, I guess it wasn't that distracting, like the accent stuff. I just like it's a very odd decision.
Yeah, like if Daniel Craig didn't do such a good job as Bond, like I might have stopped watching halfway through.
Yeah, at least the only saving grace of the movie is that it's under 2 hours. It's actually the shortest Bond movie, if you
I
can
was
believe
gonna
it.
say the movie didn't, it definitely cut right to the point. I feel like at times, like I almost like that with like I guess the cutting and everything and like the pacing. There were times I had to like almost go back and be like, wait, like I was kind of missing like pieces like to the story, or like I'd be like, wait, what? But
Yeah, I don't
honestly, like
know.
it,
Yeah, you
yeah.
go. Sorry.
I was gonna say like, thank God, yeah, like you're saying, like it was shorter because if it was longer, like 2.5 hours, oh God.
I can't imagine the producers watching this film in a private screening before it's released and thinking this is good. Just seeing all the editing, they must have been like, ripping their hair out. Because how can anyone watch this? It is so poorly edited. There's like you can tell when a movie is. You know what? Let me phrase it this way: you never say, "Hey, this movie was edited well." You never say that because you just don't notice it if a movie is edited well. But very few times could you say this movie's edited terribly. It just sticks out so much, and this movie is one of those. You know?
Yeah,
Yeah, because
it's
again, it
definitely
was
the most.
distracting.
I was gonna
What
say
were
it's
you
definitely
saying?
the most the it's the most forgettable one of the Daniel Craig series.
Yeah.
Easily the worst. I don't think that's a controversial thing.
Yeah, it's. Well, I might be on the same level as another one, but which
Oof.
we'll get to. But
I mean, to me, the fact that it was like hard to watch some of the editing is what to me makes it the worst. Like, not even just like, from a story perspective, the fact that I can't like, I don't know, it almost gives you like a headache
Like
watching it.
your eyes were just assaulted. Yeah, like that boat scene that it was so they kept like God, the cutting in that was horrible. Really, it was just like you're saying, it's visual, like not even just story, just visually, it's just hard to follow. The only thing that I guess you can follow because it just sticks out like a sore thumb is the actress's tan, overdone tan.
at least
But
the main villain, he looks creepy. He looks like a lizard. I don't know how to
so
describe it.
he looks like a rat, like a little weasel.
He looks like a naked weasel.
I mean, he definitely does look like that South American drug lord kind of look that you think they
Yeah,
were
he just
going
looks
for.
creepy, but like not
Yeah,
in like a like he's a foul creature kind of way. Just
like
you
your
know,
boy.
yeah, like somebody. But but he just looks unsettling. I guess is the word, and I guess for a villain that's good because he's more unsettling than let's say someone like Safin who is over the top trying to be unsettling and it comes off as like borderline comedic.
Imagine like being like I mean, I guess we'll get to it later. I don't want to
Yeah,
derail it.
Well,
we'll get to
I
it.
was gonna say the one guy who made me laugh was his right hand man
Yeah,
with
the
that
bowl
bowl cut.
haircut. Again, with the editing, you forget that he dies in that one scene where there's that big explosion in Echo Hotel where he
Oh
just
yeah,
gets like engulfed.
I was laughing because he just tells him to like stand there and point the gun the
He
one way, and Bond
dies.
it just blows up behind him.
Not even his
That's
haircut
also
could save him.
not. I mean, not that this like meant anything in the movie, but that hotel design was just like weird to me. Just looked like one big staircase.
It was like in the middle of the middle of the desert.
Yeah,
Like, yeah,
it's
who
like
designed a compound like that?
I was also gonna say I did like at the end how Bond didn't just kill him in the desert. He literally just left him there and then gave him a thing of motor oil to drink. Just how
He
cold.
doesn't even hand it to him. He just throws it at his chest.
But it's weird, like why he just wouldn't kill him, like because most times in the series, like he just kills kind of like indiscriminately. Then this guy is like, you know what? Here's some motor oil. I'm gonna trap you in the desert.
Well, because I think he also said like that I know the people like basically the Spectre They're like they're gonna come for you anyway. So I'm giving you a choice. Basically, just drink this and die or get
But they came
shot.
for him and just killed him. So
Yeah,
They
but
probably
yeah,
could have shot him in the back of the head.
yeah. Well, yeah, they said that not only was he killed by those people, but they said they found a bunch of motor oil in his
Well,
stomach.
we're
So
not
he
at that
drank
movie
it.
yet. What's wrong with you? Gosh.
wait, what? The motor oil?
Yeah, they said that in Spectre that they.
Oil?
I thought they said in this one.
Oh, did
Yeah,
they?
I
Oh
thought it
yeah,
was at
M
the end
did
of
say
the.
it. Yeah, she said. Oh, you know what? You're right. My bad. I apologize. Because M said something like they found motor oil in him. Does that mean anything to you? And he said like
Yeah.
no. I don't know why I was thinking of Spectre. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, why would it be Inspector? It's
I
two
thought I
movies
thought
later.
there was a dumb throwaway line in Spectre. I forgot the ending of this.
Yeah, that was 2 movies later. What are you?
Yeah, I
You
know. I'm
okay there?
sorry. It's the dementia.
Yes.
So the third Bond movie and the last one we'll be getting to today is Skyfall. And I personally love Skyfall. I love it a lot.
Even more than Casino Royale.
Well, I was talking to Daniel about this, and Casino Royale and Skyfall are two very different movies. Where Casino Royale is the most unique in terms of story, where it's a young Bond becoming the Bond we know, and Skyfall is more of like a traditional Bond movie where it has the gadgets, it has Q, Moneypenny. A not so silly villain, but it wasn't someone like Lashif. But I still like Silva.
Made me a little uncomfortable.
Yeah,
I think that was the point. What?
Well, I mean, when he was like undressing Bond and like staring at him.
Well,
and
he was
like
trying to. He was trying to
caressing
like.
his thighs.
He was trying to not break Bond, but like get to him and make him uncomfortable. And then Bond says something. He's like stroking his inner thighs. He's like, "What makes you think this is my first time?" And he stops doing it.
Seducing you. How do you like getting seduced, huh?
Yeah, but
Tables on him.
Daniel, how about you start?
Okay.
You like
Yeah,
him?
um, no, I liked it was like you're saying, like it's more traditional Bond, Bond movies. But I put it up there with Casino Royale. I don't know which one to pick, but um, I like that they kind of expanded like the cast and like they were getting more to like the gadgets and everything. I thought the plot was pretty good. This is like where like we were talking about before with like Personal Vendetta. Like I thought they did a good job with it. Like there was an actual valid reason for it, but I did like the villain and Sylvie was pretty good. But overall, I just there wasn't like anything specific I like that stood out. I just thought overall, like everything together, it was just a very well put together movie.
I have a
Craig?
question for you, Colin.
Yes.
So, was there like any, I guess, fan feedback trying to push for more like traditional characters, like Money, Penny, or Q? Or
Yeah,
was
it was
this
actually Daniel Craig's idea.
okay? Because I guess I didn't realize that they were like mainstays, and like they were, I guess, weird being gone for the first two movies.
Yeah. I mean, you guys probably didn't get this little reference, but Q said to Bond when he gave him a radio, he said something like, "Were you expecting an exploding pen? We don't do that anymore." That's referencing GoldenEye.
I had a feeling it was referencing something.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
wasn't
I
like
just didn't know
too
which one
on the
specifically.
nose. It wasn't like a Disney Star Wars where he said, "Remember when you had black hair and you were 6'2" and you threw a pen and blew up a bunch of barrels?"
Yeah, remember when you weren't James Blonde?
Remember when you were Irish? But Pierce Brosnan's Irish, in case you didn't know.
So they've had an Irishman and they've had a Scottishman. They've had a
They
Welshman
had an
play James
Australian.
Bond.
Yeah, Timothy Dalton's Welsh. Or
Oh,
part Welsh.
really?
Yeah. Daniel Craig is the first British one. I know,
It's kind of
it's
odd.
kind of nuts.
You think of, an Englishman playing
Oh, no,
James
no, I
Bond.
take that back. Roger Moore was also English. I
Okay.
forget where he was born, though.
Was there anybody born on the Isle of Man?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Yeah, Roger Moore was English, too. I lied.
Yeah, call yourself the James Bond expert.
Whatever. So, Craig, you continue about what you feel about Skyfall.
I was talking about like I guess
Oh,
why
yeah,
they
the
brought.
characters, but
Yeah.
Well, what'd you like about the movie?
I mean, it's definitely my second favorite out of all of these movies. If that means anything to anybody.
Not that that's a high bar, but
Like, it's just like a good, at a loss for words. Like, I feel like it's just like a good movie. Like, it takes itself seriously enough. There's motivation for characters to do what they do. And I guess there's a tragic death at the end. But I like the
yes,
new M more, so
you
sort
do.
of. A little bit.
Wow, that's shocking after the next two, but
Well, the last one, I felt like was character
he was a
assassination,
bumbling
but
idiot in the last one.
yeah.
But I think what makes Silva really cool and what makes him good is that yes, he has the typical "I want revenge."
His blonde hair.
Well, that too, but I like how he just wants M. He just wants to kill her and humiliate her. That's all he wants. He doesn't want world domination. He doesn't even really care about Bond. He doesn't care about him. He just wants M. And I think that is great because sometimes when I guess when you have these they want revenge, they make it too convoluted, but you know his motive. She sold him out to the Chinese so she could get more agents from them. So she sacrificed him. It makes sense. And I guess you could say one criticism could be like the Joker plan where he gets himself captured and it's everything can be too convenient. Like, how did Silva know to blow a hole at that right time to have a train go down at Bond? It's like you look past that stuff when you like everything else.
I mean, something like that, like with the train thing, like he could sit there for like, maybe a minute or two and have like a train still come through. It's not like it had to be right on time.
Well, also, how did Silva know when he got himself captured that the day he would escape would also be in the day of the hearing? How did that line up? I don't know if you really want to nitpick it. I guess you can, but
I mean,
when
well,
everything,
didn't they say like he knew the ins and outs of all their protocols?
yeah, they did say that. I'm just saying like a typical computer guy because I saw someone say how did it was something stupid like how did Silva know how to break out of their base, but they said the base that they're at for the rest of the movie was their backup one. They said something like that. Oh no, point is, if everything else is good in the movie, you're willing to pass some of that
Yeah,
too
it didn't bother me at
convenient
all.
stuff. You're willing to let that go. Right, Daniel?
Yes. I did like the opening scene when they're like fighting on the train and stuff. I thought that action scene. I just like that. Like Daniel Craig did a lot of like I would say most of like the hand to hand, the up close stuff. Obviously, like some of the jumping out of the buildings and stuff. Like he's older, but I did appreciate him. Like it was. I just like when actors actually do like a good portion of like the at least like the in close hand to hand part, like the stunts that they can do. But he definitely um, like you were saying before, like him wanting to expand more of those traditional characters, it shows that he actually really was like invested in the role and actually like really loved it. You could tell
Yeah.
that he actually put his time in.
Yeah. He's committed. Did you guys know this is the first time Bond has ever been shot and hit? It's the first
Really?
time he's been hit
Really?
by a bullet. Yep, in the entire. I think this is number 23, Bond 23, and it took 22 movies for him to get 23 to get shot and hit.
It's kind of surprising because like I figured he might get like shot in the shoulder or
He never did. He was unscathed.
I did like the scene where when he was enjoying retirement and he was just on that like island and just for fun he was doing the shot with like the venomous scorpion on his hand for no reason just because.
he's
Uh,
retiring. Who cares?
yeah.
I wouldn't say he was having fun, but I think also, and what's unfortunate is that the movie that follows this ruins some of this. But they go more into Bond's backstory. And I think there's a couple lines in the previous movies that he's an orphan. But I like how, they introduced the Skyfall estate, which is where he was during his when he was orphaned. And he had that gamekeeper with him. I like those little touches.
So I guess is he Scottish in this?
Yes, he has like I think they said his mom is like part Scottish or Scottish. I think they said something like that because that was to
I,
honor Sean Connery.
Oh, I guess that makes sense.
I was gonna say I did like in this one that when he got shot, they didn't just um like it wasn't like he just got shot to like fake die. Like I like that during the movie, like him coming back, he's struggling with getting back into shape and stuff. Like he has to overcome that throughout his mission as well.
He's
Uh,
older.
yeah, like they acknowledge that. You can just tank a bullet and for the sake of it.
I will
That's funny
say
too,
that.
because
Oh yeah, Craig. Sorry, you go. Sorry.
like, how old is he supposed to be in this movie? Like,
He's
if
supposed to be in his 40s.
oh really? I thought he was like still in his 30s.
No, this takes. I think besides Quantum of Solace and Casino Royale, like Casino Royale takes place in 2006. They take place when they are released, but Quantum of Solace takes place in 2006 because it takes place right after. It picks up right after Casino Royale. But I think I saw somewhere like the official James Bond wiki, like No Time to Die takes place in 2021. They're all relative to what year they were released. So
Like
all
I
those years of gap are accommodated to the character.
okay, because I thought he was like 30-ish when Casino Royale came out, but
This is
oh, I
6 years
know.
after Casino Royale, Craig.
Yeah, still in his 30s.
He was in his late 30s in Casino Royale.
Oh, I did not know that.
Now you do.
I assumed he was younger.
But what I was gonna say was when they're saying he's older, it's not like how Indiana Jones 4 had it, where they kept on calling Harrison Ford an old man. It just felt like I don't know. It just
Well, it felt different.
constantly
Like
they
it's
weren't
like a
parading
military
Bond with
thing.
it. Yeah, they weren't berating him with it. Like, oh, you're old. Like I'm surprised Moneypenny didn't call him Gramps at one point. It is Disney handling this. Oh boy.
Well, because again, it's more like a military thing where you have to be in top shape, otherwise you're effectively useless.
Well, that's what you said earlier, Craig. Like M said to Bond, "This is a young man's game." Or no, not M. Mallory, Gareth Mallory. He said,
What
"This is
does
a
it mean?
young
You
man's game."
gotta be in top shape. Do all the crazy stunts that he does.
I don't think I really have anything else to say about this movie. I really like everything about it.
So I really like the ending where it was just again just basically they booby trap the house to destroy to kill all the guards and stuff.
Yes, and I think it was cool that they brought back the Aston Martin. I think that was cool too.
Well,
'Cause
yeah,
this,
I feel like they brought everything
Yeah.
back.
well, this was also like the 50th anniversary of Bond, so it was a nice homage. They could have easily done. I mean, this predated The Force Awakens, so I imagine if this came out today and it had its 50th anniversary, it'd be disgusting. But it had the nice little touches like the Aston Martin, but it wasn't too in your face. He made a reference about ejecting M, which Sean Connery did with the seat. I think Goldfinger. It's well done.
But James Bond always felt different. Like they don't seems like they don't try to fall for the nostalgia stuff. I mean, that could always change, obviously, but even if it came out, a new one comes out, I don't think they would focus on. At least you hope not, right?
I hope not. No, yeah.
But you never know.
Hmm. I agree.
So,
Just an overall very well put together movie.
I
so
think.
this you don't
Yeah,
like the
Craig, you
new
go.
M. Is
Me?
that because? Yeah, you said you didn't like him. Is that
He.
because of the later movies, or is it just?
That's mostly because of the later movies.
Um,
I think I liked also the relationship with Bond and M, and the at least especially in this one too. It's very well developed,
Yeah.
and essentially in this movie, M is the Bond girl, essentially, but not in the way you think.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, because I guess the Bond girl there, the one they thought she gets shot
In
by
the head,
Silva. Yeah.
she gets headshotted.
I did I did like that like little like how just insane Silva was, where and also like it was to test Bond, physically as well. Like it kept reiterating that. He put like the little whiskey glass on her head,
He
and he
said
goes, "You
like,
just
"Don't
have to."
lose your head" or something to her.
Yeah, no, he's like the first one of us to knock it off her head. So he just shoots. No, he didn't. I don't even think he shot her. He just shot her
Oh, he
like.
shot her to knock it off.
Yeah, I just that like scene. It was just a nice little like touch on like how casual but evil the villain is. Uh, I also did that scene where he like took out his. I didn't realize like that was his like he pulled out the fake teeth to show the effects of like the cyanide had on him.
Is that why you didn't
Where he
like Craig? He was too creepy for you.
I meant more like he was trying to like seduce Bond. Like
Oh,
it's a real role reversal.
anything goes. Oh, I'm kidding. That was a terrible reference.
You see, my jokes are bad.
But I think it was nice how they handled M's death. I thought that was well done. I really liked the court the hearing room shootout. That was cool. That was nice and tense. Because I'm assuming you guys saw these movies chronologically.
Yes.
yes.
I saw Spectre first, then this. So I already knew M dies at some point. But did you think M was gonna die at the courtroom part?
No, because then that wouldn't give any motivation for the villain to
That's very true. I didn't think
continue.
of that.
Yeah. Also, just looking at the time in the movie, I just was like, no, if she were, it'd be at the end.
Well, maybe if he did kill her at that point, Bond would go after him for revenge. But then, like, that'd be too messy. Because then Silva got revenge on him, and then Bond has to get revenge on Silva. That'd be too messy.
I was gonna say like the one I guess with the new M, I did like because I always hate when like these new characters come in and like they're the bureaucrat and like oh he doesn't understand us, he's just here to get in our way, and then he really wasn't that. He kind of understood what was going on, was kind of helping them.
Yeah, he was doing the transition. He was helping them with.
Yeah, 'cause you know like that kind of character. They come in and it's like oh he doesn't whatever. You always hate those kinds of characters, and I think it's overdone.
I was also gonna ask you, Colin. In the other Bond movies, did Bond kill his villains in like an extravagant or like big way, like cinematic way?
To answer your question, one of the movies he put like an inflatable pellet into somebody, and they blew up like a balloon. They shot through the ceiling and blew up.
Because that is one thing like watching all these movies. Obviously, we'll get to the last two, but just as a series as a whole, I liked that little touch, like the professionalism of like him just being a stone cold killer, where he didn't kill any of his villains in an extravagant way. Like even Silva, like he just it's almost like anticlimactic, but it works because it's a nice nuance to his character where Silva he just impales him in the back with a sword and that's it. Like he throws it in the back and you just hear him gasp and then he just falls over and dies. Or um in or I mean Casino Royale he technically didn't kill him, but the guy just got shot in the head and that was it. Or in the last one or in Quantum of Solace, like he just gave the guy more motor oil, left him, and the guy got shot and killed like off screen. I just like that little nuance to him. Like there's no like big over the top cinematic thing. It was just no, it's he's still a spy at the end of the day. He gets the job done. I just like that little nuance to his character,
A
but
sense of professionalism.
and it's like more grounded in realism, not inflating the guy like a balloon until he pops.
There's one where he injects or he shoots out a uranium rod and it hits a guy in the chest and kills him. It's like some of the dumbest things you could come up with. These people die in.
I guess that's why they had to like
They had to
have such
tone it
a
down. Yeah.
yeah. Because was that are you referencing? I guess the was it Pierce Brosnan movies?
No, that was the Roger Moore one with the
Um,
pellet.
what
I'm
Was
about
trying
the
to think
good
of other
one?
ridiculous ones. Sean
was
Bean in Goldeneye gets like a satellite dropped on him. And in Brosnan's second movie, he has throughout the whole movie, the main villain has like a CVAC drill that like drills into submarines underwater, and then Bond throws the guy in front of it, and it just, like shreds him. The uranium
oh
rod was Brosnan's third movie.
I did like in this one, because it was like a nice little like payoff, like where um when before he leaves to go to Shanghai and like he's getting all the gadgets and everything from Q, and then Q like gives him the pistol and like looks like more traditional, but it's like it only responds to Bond's hand to shoot. And then when he's in Shanghai in like that casino part, and then he falls into the Komodo dragon pit with the goon with the henchman, and the guy goes to shoot him, and Bond just stands there casually. And he's like, "Yeah, good luck with that." And the guy just gets dragged away by a bunch of Komodo dragons, and the people just look down in horror as the guy's getting devoured, and he just walks away
Yeah,
casually.
I was actually going to mention that quickly. The funniest thing about that scene is when he like climbs back up, he just says to somebody, "It's the circle of life," as you hear the guys screaming.
Yeah. But that's what I mean. Like his character, every time, like he just goes through this giant action scene, and then he just casually gets up, fixes his tux, and just walks away straight face. I always like that
Yes,
little touch to
he
him.
is. Daniel Craig is very good at like delivering those kind of lines. He says it so nonchalantly. Because again, I hate to keep referencing Disney, but I will because they're just so terrible at doing it. If this was the MCU or anything like that, they would have probably looked right into the camera and then just said it out loud, like, "Oh, I guess it's the circle of life," and then there's that moment of silence so the audience could laugh.
Oh god, like a sitcom. Oh my god.
Yeah. Here, Bond just says it casually as he's walking and fixing his suit. That's great. That's great.
It was also again like they don't have this stupid pause. They don't dwell on it. It's like you say, you move on immediately. It's no, don't dwell on it. Oh god, could you imagine like modern movies become nothing but like sitcoms where they have to like start putting in pauses?
Like, I don't want to go on a tangent, but have you recently rewatched an MCU movie? And there's this little beats that after they try to say something funny, no one says anything. It's like it's these pre-installed beats for the audience to laugh, and when they're expecting the audience to laugh.
I would. Is there any like like which one are you talking about? I'm just
Oh
curious.
God, I think like it's one of
I
the
mean,
newer ones.
I think it's worse like under Joss Whedon.
I was gonna say like maybe Age of Ultron. It was like that. I
Like,
don't know.
because you've seen more of the newer ones. But it's not good. I don't want to keep derailing
Yeah,
it.
that's not. That's enough of that nonsense. Any final thoughts? I don't think I have any other things to say.
Yeah, just one other little scene I liked of like Silva basically taunting M was when she got the message on her computer, and it was like supposed to be like a claim your prize ad. It was like
Oh
that little. It was
yeah,
like him taunting her, and then he posted all the stuff. It was like the first like set of names. He said.
Craig. I was gonna say when you talked about how usually when they introduce a new character, like some bureaucrat, what's not funny, but with Mallory, everything he kind of said was true in the movie when he said to M, like, you pretty much lost your touch. Bond is too old because, as we find out, he failed all of his tests, and M sent him anyway. He was kind of right on everything he said, Mallory.
But like in, I guess most movies, they would have him where, although he's right, they would like shove in his face and say he's wrong. Yeah, he failed the physical, but he still completed the mission. So, you're wrong. And then he'll like be in leagues with the bad guy secretly, and he
Yeah, it's not
dies.
like Mallory as he. It seemed like he didn't go out of his way to prove Bond wrong. It's just something he observed and he
The outside
genuinely
perspective, as
cared.
they
Yeah,
say in
Yeah,
the
a
business.
yeah,
third
with it.
party perspective trying to voice his opinion.
Yeah, any logical person in his position is going to have their questions and cautions. But it pays off at the end, like you guys were saying. Like it doesn't rub it in his face. It pays off for he takes over M, but you could see that he sees what M saw in Bond, and like he respects him at the end. But it's not it didn't rub it in his face.
Yeah,
It's
he
just it's
literally
a
helps Q and Tanner help Bond create like fake trails for Silva to follow. He literally approves of it. So
yeah. No, I liked Mallory in this one. He was nice, uh what's the right word? Because he was like I guess like a foil in a way to M.
nice balding. Because Ray Fiennes is balding.
But No, I thought he was a good addition. You know, it was a nice counterpart to M,
A
and
nice handoff.
yeah, it wasn't a, beat you over the head or anything. So
Yes.
it was done very well.
Yes, I know you guys probably don't care, but last thing, I also liked how M has a bigger role in this movie. And like I said, they worked on the relationship because M, in a typical Bond movie, is only in the movie for like 2 to 3 scenes, and then M just disappears at the end.
Well,
I
I
thought it
was
was
gonna
like
say,
Quantum of Solace.
Well, I said typical. And like
and
M,
also and
M's in
also
the
good and also
beginning.
good movie.
Yeah, M is in the beginning for very briefly to brief Bond. Is in the beginning for a little bit to brief Bond on the mission. There's the quick shows M doing something in the middle of the movie, and at the end, sometimes M wraps it up. I like how M's throughout the movie and she's involved with the plot. I like that.
I was also gonna say like it was a nice little touch to their relationship, like how when Bond first shows back up in her apartment, how you could see that he was actually very offended that she shot him. Like he was pissed, like because obviously he understands their job and everything. Like, and she was like, I like, what do you want me to do? I made a judgment call, but like, it was like the subtext of like you could see in his eyes, like almost like what the hell, like he expected, I guess, a little different, or like between their relationship. Like he was very offended.
I mean, who
No,
wouldn't be? He got shot.
yeah, no, but I just like that little nuance between their, it because she's like maybe the only person in this movie that he has an established relationship with, and it's been growing to this point. It was just a little nice little detail.
I was gonna ask,
Yes.
I'm going to, it's safe to assume that Moneypenny was not an agent.
No, she always had like a desk job, like how she is at the end of Skyfall and throughout the rest of the movies, where her desk is always right outside M's room.
Because I had a feeling that it's probably some convoluted backstory to give her, because she just can't have a desk job. She's got to be an agent or something, then get the desk job.
I didn't mind that.
I
Again,
just had a feeling.
from an out, I guess for you, you don't know what to expect. For at least seeing all the movies, Moneypenny doesn't really do much in these movies, in typical Bond movies. So seeing her have an active role is different, and it's nicer, I guess. She wasn't annoying. That's the most important part. She wasn't annoying.
No, it's just more like a modern thing.
Oh yeah, I didn't
I
mind it.
guess I guess the worst part about her was her shooting abilities.
Yeah, I mean,
No,
who could make that shot? I mean,
Yeah,
come on.
who could try to hit the guy who's close to Bond on a moving train when you're like hundreds of yards away?
I mean,
I'll
come on,
tell you
anybody
who
could do
could.
it.
I'll
Like in
tell
the
you
back,
who
it's like
could.
in the broadside of a
You,
barn.
you, you know who could. All right,
Yeah,
The
Hawkeye
Rock.
probably.
don't make me say it.
Say it, coward.
Dwayne the Rock Johnson, baby. He'd do it while fighting off three guys with one hand too. But
And
On
he's
the other hand, he's
shirtless.
injecting himself with steroids.
He would throw a
Allegedly.
steroids needle at that guy from that range and kill him.
while having like a bunch of women fawn over him too. But
Yeah.
I thought it would have been funny if like I was expecting when she shot Bond and like the guy that he was chasing like looked at her. I was expecting the guy to you know do
Like Simon
something to
Skinner,
taunt her,
Give
or
her the
he just
middle
yells,
finger.
"Yeah, thank you," as he just goes under the tunnel.
I always think of like the Simon Skinner from Hot Fuzz. Like he drives by, like
Oh
waves
yeah.
at him. The look he gives.
That was Timothy Dalton, who was also Bond.
I know because remember you told me. I was like I would never have known.
Well, just out of my own curiosity, when did you like start getting really into the Bond movies, Colin? Because I know you've been.
Spectre was the first one I saw.
Oh.
Okay.
And I saw that in theaters too, so
And then did you after that? Did you
I
watch like all the
watched I
films?
watched after that one I think Skyfall and then Casino Royale. And I think then Quantum. Then I watched like the Connery ones. I don't remember the exact order after that. The last one I watched before No Time to Die came out. And I did this like in 2016. was A View to a Kill, which is the worst one. So I ended on that one. Yeah, I didn't watch them from like Sean Connery and all that. I watched them all out of order.
Yeah. Would you say Connery's the second best behind Craig?
I like Timothy Dalton. Timothy Dalton was the Daniel Craig before Daniel Craig. And a lot of people didn't like him because he came after Roger Moore. And his movies were very goofy. He literally dressed as a clown in one movie. I kid you not.
Like for a good chunk of it, or just like a scene?
For a scene, but he did like the mime things too. It's very bizarre.
Man's dedicated to getting the job done.
For him, it was also weird. He was almost 60 in his last movie. He just looked tired and he didn't want to be there.
You gotta get that money.
Yeah, because I think honestly, this entire series were like the first set of Bond movies like I fully watched. I guess the closest thing before that would be Austin Powers, but that's a whole nother.
Now you know what they're referencing.
Well, you have to watch the Connery ones and the Roger Moore to know what they're referencing.
That's true.
Austin Powers is before Daniel Craig.
But I was gonna say also, oh yeah, but like I guess like with the never mind. I don't know where that
Keep
was
that
going
thought
with
to
that.
yourself.
Oh well.
Don't think thoughts like that ever again.
I guess this would be a good place to end, right? Anyone got anything else to say?
I guess it is a good place to end since I don't think Colin likes the next two.
Yes, I really don't.
If you're, watch, I'd say just for the sake of the whole story, watch it, but out of definitely, I mean, maybe you can just skip Quantum of Solace.
You
Just go
100%
right.
can skip Quantum of Solace.
Yeah, is there really any plot, story like things that you need to know for like the?
The beauty of Skyfall is that you could go in blind and not seen the other two movies, and then you'll know what is happening. It does not reference a single movie before or after it.
Yeah, because I guess the only significant thing in Quantum of Solace, because that was the ending where they put to rest the Vesper, like, because that was like with her, if the boyfriend turned out he wasn't like, he was like just some scummy con guy.
He was just seducing.
Like, yeah, seducing government
in government positions just to gain info.
Yeah.
Like what?
I mean, it's honestly not that unrealistic.
Yeah, but it's just, they were so, as we said, I don't want to rehash on it, but it was so unneedlessly convoluted.
Yeah, they could have just
first loyalty. Was it not good enough that she betrayed him to save his life when they're about to be killed?
Yeah,
is that not good enough?
Yeah,
more backstory.
Yeah, I was gonna say too with like that one, they could have just left it like he got the information from Mathis and just left Mathis there. He did not need to bring him just to get him killed and use him as a meat shield.
Just to make Mathis's wife fly out to wherever they were, just to identify the body. Yeah, no Bond.
Like really rubbing salt in the wound.
I think it would have been more in Bond fashion if he got Mathis killed and then slept with his wife and then left.
Then he kills her.
Well, that'd be Zack Snyder. Zack Snyder's Bond.
No, Zack Snyder's Bond would be him punching people in the face and like brutally killing them and ripping them apart.
No, Zack Snyder's Bond would have cut up Mathis's body, and they would have showed like a 10-minute scene of him cutting up the body with all these gadgets.
He'd be cooking the body because he needs to survive in the desert.
Yeah, Bond would never have a clean suit. He'd always be drenched in blood if this was Zack Snyder.
Which might as well wear a red suit.
Oh, which reminds me too. I know we already talked about Casino Royale. I can't believe I forgot this. But one of the things I liked about Casino Royale is very nice touch. Was that when Bond would do stuff, like action scenes, he would get very sweaty and he looked disgusting. I think that's great. I think that adds realism. He would get really beaten up and he'd look like he's had a rough day. Not to name any actors who take steroids and are 6'4" and were a failed football player at Miami U. But those kind of actors, they get hit 100 times in the face and they look clean. And at least in Casino Royale, they did this. When Bond would actually get physical and fight, he'd be cut up and all sweaty. He would ruin his clothing. Nice touch. I like that.
Which
There's a
I don't.
Casino Royale.
No. I was gonna say, but there's another one where he like he was wearing like a white dress shirt and he got blood on it and he just like in the next two scenes like he didn't change clothes, he just had that blood on his shirt the whole time. And the best is like he was walking and even with the blood on the shirt he still buttons it up and fixes up like nothing's wrong. He just keeps going.
He's got to win a poker game.
I don't know if that was in Casino Royale with the blood on the shirt, but
Might have been. Or was it Skyfall when he got shot and he just like cleans the wound and keeps walking?
it might have been.
He's got no time to bleed.
Did
But evidently
I'm not gonna go
evidently he does. I don't know where I was going with that.
it?
Alright, shut up.
I think it's copyright struck.
Alright.
That's
That's all I have to say.
just watch Casino Royale and Skyfall.
Yeah, skip Quantum of Solace. And I think our 10 viewers would be very disappointed next week when we don't recommend anything.
Spoiler alert.
You know what you know what, viewers, you guys get a bye week.
Alright, well that's been the Unbiased Opinion, where everyone's opinion is biased except ours. I've been Colin.
I've been Daniel.
Oh.
Oh, come on, man.
You're supposed to say Craig.
And, unfortunately, I'm Craig.
Yeah, I
So
wouldn't
we
want to
both
make
can
that
claim the
guy.
name of Daniel Craig.
And that's been our episode. Yep. Oh wait, I hit the wrong button.